So sing together, play up sky blues, while we sing together. We will never lose. Tottenham or Chelsea, United or anyone, they shan't defeat us. We'll fight till the game is won.
Coventry has always been a comeback city. A phoenix rising from the ashes became a symbol of defiance after the Blitz. On one night in November 1940, the city was devastated by one of the most destructive air raids of the Second World War. The old cathedral was left in ruins. Even the football stadium was bombed. Rather than be defined by destruction, Coventry became a symbol of peace and reconciliation. Once one of Britain's great manufacturing cities, generations built lives in its factories before industrial decline reshaped the city. Time and again, Coventry refused to be defined by what it had lost. Perhaps that's why football means so much here. The fortunes of Coventry City have so often mirrored those of the city itself. During the 60s, Jimmy Hill's Sky Blue Revolution brought Coventry into the top flight. 20 years later, City made it to the FA Cup final.
That whole day was just unbelievable.
Went to every round of the FA Cup that year, just because we went to Old Trafford, and when we'd won at Old Trafford, we just thought, well, let's keep going.
My family were mad City fans, and we started off with a champagne breakfast in my mum's back garden. There were about 60 or 70 City fans there with their flags before we got on a coach to go down to Wembley. And it's a day that I'll never ever forget.
Downs with the left foot ball forward. Houchin heads it down, and there's Bennett dipping in. Bennett will score for Coventry. What a great goal from David Bennett! Coventry City are back on terms.
Plays it to his right. Chance here for Coventry as Bennett gets the cross in. There's Houchin.
The thing I remember most about that game was when the third goal went in, the winning goal for us. I couldn't celebrate because I was knackered. I think we were as tired as the players were. You know, the euphoria of winning the FA Cup was amazing, really.
Oh my word! There's tears down the faces. The players don't know what to do. The fans are in ecstasy. Brooke Stevens and Paul King are on their feet alongside me. Michael the Reunited, such enormous cheer. They've waited 104 years for something like this, and they are going to carry on celebrating.
We grew up, the cup final was a thing, and I remember watching that Coventry Tottenham game, and it's great seeing it and all that Coventry win and that. We knew Coventry was being Premier League team.
Founding members of the Premier League, famous moments and players, but for decades, the drama mostly revolved around survival. While the club struggled to hold its place, Coventry were a top-flight club.
There was always drama at Coventry City, and it was always a struggle to sort of keep their head above the water, really, but they managed it. And you know, in the Premier League years, there was some really exciting years with Gordon Strachan.
And he'd come out, Daniel would have his team right, been a real football fun. And then I was down at Man United at Old Trafford playing in midfield. Well, you had Gary McAllister there, you know, you had Dion Dublin, Darren Huckabee, Noel Whelan, players like these, you know. You grow up watching the football, like you say, football, Premier League football, it's like, you know, it's a dream come true stuff.
Supporting Coventry back then was just a question of turning up and hoping for the best for the most part. I think there was all those years when we were in the First Division, Premier League as it is now, staying up by hook and by crook kind of thing.
The warning signs were always there, but it finally ended when they sold Robbie Keane for, I think it was about £13 million to Inter Milan, coupled with the fact that they lost Gary McAllister, went off to Liverpool, and they just really struggled the following season, and they obviously finally went down in 2001, which was an awful day really, because obviously it was at Villa Park, which wasn't very nice given the rivalry.
Having a
charmed life among the game's elite in the top division over a period of 34 years, Coventry's fine run has finally come to an end. After 10 escapes on the closing day of the season down the years, they haven't quite managed it this time.
It's a mad day, surreal day, because like the build up to it, build up was always about, you know, can we stay up, can we? Because they've done it years and years before, so it was always that big thing, can we do it again? Listen, I would never say it's any one thing, because it's not. It's a combination of everything goes that. But the bottom line is that, you know, we as a team, players, should have been able to get out of that. Should have been good enough to get out of that.
Brian Richardson, who was the chairman at the time, he tried to turn it into a bit of a positive by sort of saying, well, look, you know, perhaps it'll be a good thing for the club in terms of being more of a yo-yo club now. We can bounce straight back, you know, and if you have to come back down again and go back up, so be it. But there was a feeling around the place that the club would come back.
When we went down first, everyone thought, oh, we're one of the favourites to come straight back up. And it doesn't always work like that, you know. I remember we were up thereabouts in the last few games, and then we lost and then didn't make the playoff.
When we got relegated in 2001, when Strachan left, I think the count was, I can't remember how many there were, but the list of interim managers, even the ones that weren't interim, weren't there for very long at all. And it was like, we couldn't quite get the right person for the job, and that lasted for a really, really long time.
Obviously, there was massive financial mismanagement. Highfield Road was sold and rented back. The RICO was slow in being put together. The council and various charitable trusts were involved in the financing of that. We ended up in debt to all of them. The bigger thing really was the club nearly went into administration. The club nearly went bust. So when SISU rescued us, there wouldn't have been a football club. So that's how bad it was then. The feeling was, where could we end up? Could we be demoted another division? Could we go out of business entirely?
New owners, fresh investment, it just didn't work out. The club were hemorrhaging money, and it just never got any better, really.
Every club has supporters who've clashed with ownership, but under SISU, Coventry City fans endured something far more extreme. Many would say that they wouldn't have wished it on their worst rivals.
Coventry have always frustrated me on the pitch, but the SISU years were a disaster. Just the way they treated the supporters, you know, almost with disdain the whole time. The various protests against them, which never came to anything. You just felt like they are going to cripple and bankrupt the club, and they were. That's the way it was going at one point.
The idea was, when we dropped out of the Premier League, that, you know, we get our mojo back and that we'd be back the next season, you know, give it 1 year, we'll be back. And unfortunately, you know, 10 years went by and then we got relegated again.
They had the option to buy half of the stadium. They chose not to. They stopped paying the rent and they moved to Sixfields, to Northampton. The fans are the lifeblood of any football club, and that just ripped the heart out of the Sky Blues fan base.
It's difficult to explain the gravity of a club like Coventry City leaving Coventry. A one-club city, more than 300,000 people, and suddenly their team was playing 35 miles away in Northampton. Just as Coventry didn't belong in Northampton, the club didn't belong in League One either. But seasons came and seasons went, and the grim new reality was sinking in.
Honestly, it was crazy. I remember it was one of the first times I remember seeing our club on Sky Sports News and just thinking, like, this is massive. We're in real trouble here. Like, what is actually going on with our club? And I'm really starting to panic and just thinking, this uncertainty, like, this can only end one way.
We boycotted going to Northampton.
Yeah,
my family did. We were against SISU, so yeah, we didn't go.
I never went to Northampton. I felt like that was too far away to go.
It was just awful, and it was a really bad period. You know, there were protests of the fans on the hill at Sixfields, looking down.
It was the right time to protest about it. I like the fact that some people went and watched from the hill, overlooking it.
There was a guy who drove to it, put it on the Facebook fans forum and said, guys, look at this photo. You can see it like half the pitch. Then, like, I remember like rousing the comments, you can see 33% of the pitch.
We did do quite well playing. When we were playing home games at Northampton, that was a really good season. That was Callum Wilson's great season, wasn't it? when Elvis Presley was in charge.
We had 2 -10 deductions, managed to somehow stay up both seasons.
One of the low points in the most recent history is Russell Slade's tenure as manager. The wheels came off and we went down. So I think relegation from League One to League Two would probably be the lowest point.
2017 was the beginning of an unglamorous but gritty Sky Blues revolution under Mark Robins.
Russell Slade had gone, but we knew we were going to get relegated. The points was too big. We'd got Mark Robins back, which we were all happy with.
One of the high points was we were being relegated from League One to League Two, and then we took 40,000 to Wembley.
Something happened that Sunday afternoon where all of a sudden we went and come out of nowhere and we beat Oxford 2-1.
And that was a magnificent day. The club had bottomed out, they'd gone down to League Two, but that was the starting point. That was the beginning of the rise, the phoenix from the ashes, if you like.
Coventry's rise became one of England's greatest against the odds stories.
Robins' return brought 2 Wembley wins in back-to-back seasons.
Over the course of 5 years, Coventry were promoted twice and had stabilised themselves in the Championship. The return to the Championship was made more remarkable still by the club spending another 2 years playing away at home, this time in Birmingham. When a little-known businessman called Doug King took over in 2023, Coventry had already fought its way back from the brink, but the club's future still felt fragile.
Nice to see you all. So how would you describe the early stages of your ownership of Coventry and the challenges you've faced so far?
I didn't know who Doug King was. I'd never heard of him. All we were told is he was a businessman from Stratford, had offices where SISU had offices in Mayfair. So obviously there were a few alarm bells there ringing. A lot of people thought he was SISU in disguise.
When he first took over, I really wasn't sure. I didn't know whether he was connected to SISU in some way because apparently they shared offices in London. There was all sorts of rumours.
I'll be completely honest, I was a little bit cautious because I did hear that he got strong links to SISU.
As King and the supporters gradually got to know each other, progress followed. Coventry's late charge into the playoff positions in 2023 sent the club back to Wembley once again. But Coventry City have often trodden a fine line between success and heartbreak. A penalty shootout defeat to Luton Town denied them a return to the Premier League, but it wouldn't keep them away from Wembley for long. For the 4th time in 8 years, Coventry City supporters painted Wembley sky blue. Facing Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final, the city that keeps fighting mounted the greatest comeback in FA Cup history. For about 90 seconds. VAR ruled out Coventry's extra-time winner. Nobody can take away the feeling inside Wembley when Victor Torp thought he'd won it. After a slow start to the following season, Doug King took the controversial decision to sack club legend Mark Robins.
Welcome back. Let's bring you some big breaking news from the Championship, where Coventry have called what they say is a difficult decision to sack their manager Mark Robins, who has done an absolutely incredible job.
I was in my office working from home and I started to basically scream, no. It was a genuine reaction, like someone had died. And Mum said, what the hell's happened? And I said, they've sacked Mark Robins.
I was gutted, and I was quite surprised at how many people weren't that I knew. I had a few friends at the time who all thought his time was up, and I never did. I thought we'll live to regret this till our dying day.
Brother Nick, who's a huge City fan, he texted me and he said, "You're never going to believe it." He said, "But Mark Robins has been sacked." And I was like, it can't happen.
The Mark Robins era, without doubt, is the greatest era in Coventry City's history, primarily because of the circumstances in which he was operating. I mean, he joined when we were almost at our very lowest ebb. Considering all the things that were going against him at the time, I don't think we've ever had a better manager, and that includes Jimmy Hill. I still rate him as the greatest Coventry City manager, deserves a statue, everything.
Mark Robins, without him rebuilding and making people support Coventry City again, that's what he did. He got shirts, Cov shirts, back on kids, not Man United shirts, and he said, you know what, this is something you can be proud of.
Amidst the shock and debate over Mark Robins' sacking, King turned to a huge name, of the sort not often associated with Coventry City. Frank Lampard, one of England's greatest ever players, but still unproven as a manager. King had not only gambled on sacking someone so revered, but he had gambled on a manager that many believed was throwing his last roll of the dice. Supporters feared the gamble could drag Coventry deeper into trouble.
I'm absolutely delighted to be here. A club that I've got huge respect for in terms of its history and tradition.
When Frank Lampard was appointed, it was probably the worst kept secret ever, because I thought from day one he was getting the job. At the time I didn't want it. I didn't want a brand name. I didn't want us to become Frank Lampard's Coventry and not just Coventry. And the pressure and the media attention that we were going to get, I don't like either. I'm quite happy for Mark Robins to keep doing what he was doing. So no, I didn't want Lampard at all.
And the doubters on Lampard, it was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And people were asking me, what do you think? What do you think? I was like, well, you've got to give him a go. Like, what's the point of being negative about him? You've got to be positive. Yeah. There's no other way.
My fear was he's such a guy, isn't he, Frank Lampard? He's, I just didn't know whether he was the right fit for Coventry.
I think Frank Lampard was a great fit for Coventry City. He was at a stage of his career where he perhaps needed to sort of to rebuild. He'd been out of the game, I think, for about 18 months. And the big question at the time, all the national journalists who turned up at the time when Lampard was unveiled was, why are you doing this, Frank? He's hugely ambitious, as he was as a player, and now as he is as a manager.
I can remember the very first day that Frank Lampard went into training, the look on their face. They were like kids at Christmas. Their eyes were wide open, and they were like looking as if to think, here is our Messiah.
Lampard inherited the foundations from Robins.
Yeah.
Gave him that platform just to hit the ground running, didn't he?
When Frank walks off and he looks so angry on his face, he wears it when we lose. And I'm like, yeah, you care, mate. Your absolute life is Coventry City. And I just, that's all I ever want. And I know that if any of those players are not respecting that amazing aura that Frank's got, he will clamp down pretty quick. And that's why I absolutely just love the bloke. He's just unbelievable.
Lampard quickly won over the fan base with shrewd tactical adjustments, front foot football, and a fist-pumping celebration away to Millwall that soon became his trademark. Under his guidance, Coventry climbed back into the playoff places once again, only for more misfortune to strike.
Well, it's been a great gritty
the tightrope had given way once more.
Mayenda given a gift. Round Wilson, and he takes advantage. A playoff semi-final lead.
Nevertheless, Coventry started the next season on their feet. Saturday, 23rd of August, 2025, with the sense of theatre that would become one of his trademarks, Doug King announced Coventry City's purchase of the CBS Arena before kick-off against QPR. For the first time in over 20 years, Coventry had their home back.
It wasn't easy. I was up till, 1:20 in the morning to conclude the deal last night. You never know until you know. Now we've got it together, and it's now our time and our turn to make it really be where we want it to go.
When that stadium was bought, I knew that he was legit.
The fact that at the QPR game, when we all got announced, never has there been a secret like that, has there?
No.
There's usually some whispers or murmurs or rumours of what's going on. Exactly, and then to win in the style that we did.
But when we first announced that we'd got the stadium, I was over the moon. I was just really, really delighted. That was just a fantastic thing to announce. And what a way to celebrate it with the game that day when they absolutely murdered QPR.
Every other club, it's a given that your stadium and your club are together. That was always the problem with Coventry City. And when that finally got done, I did cry. It's something that I'd literally had dreams about since I was a kid. I'd dreamt, literally, we've bought the stadium, we've done this, we've done that. And I just could not believe it. And I was like absolutely ecstatic.
From there, something began to grow. The goals kept coming and the atmosphere changed. Every game, the ground felt louder than the last. At times it was deafening. The enemy played, and We'll Live and Die in These Towns echoed around the stadium. The party wouldn't stop. More importantly, belief in the city had returned. For years, Coventry supporters had expected something to go wrong. Now they were expecting something special. The squad was thin, and sustaining that early pace was always going to be difficult. Inevitably, the dip came. A commanding lead at the top disappeared, and some doubts crept back in. This time, though, the response felt different. Against Middlesbrough, despite having just been knocked off top spot, Coventry produced one of their performances of the season, not simply because they won 3-1, but because they looked like champions. Lampard's standards were defining the team. Belief had become habit. All that remained was to finish the job. A baffling draw against bottom of the table Sheffield Wednesday delayed promotion, sending 7,000 supporters to Blackburn, hoping to witness history.
The city of Coventry has arrived en masse in the East Lancashire town of Blackburn, hoping tonight is the night. A sea of sky blue surging up the M6 as they surge towards the Premier League. One more point. 1 point completes the story, a comeback tale for the ages. Alabiosu. It's a great move for the cross switch again, he has done, and a great ball in, Ahashi unable to convert. Here they come again, Ahashi on the move, this time Van Eyck saw the danger, scurried across the pitch, and he made it count. Latabodier was a telling ball. Alabiosu, it's Morista! Blackburn Rovers are here to watch Coventry's parade and wave them up to the Premier League. Romain Esse, Redoni with the flick off the post! And now the flag goes up, but Jack Redoni so close to scoring the goal.
Well, like every Coventry attack, they had so little impact on the game that I thought this was his moment. So competitive the league this season, but Blackburn just starting to give away unnecessary free kicks, cheap free kicks in dangerous areas. I know it's hard, trying to defend well, get to the ball, just overstepping the mark and just inviting pressure.
Coventry City fans behind that goal, willing a goal here, the goal. Bobby Thomas amongst those waiting in the middle and looking to make his move now! Is that the moment? Is that the historic goal? Coventry City fans roar like they haven't roared in decades. There are still a few people there, despite the exodus up here. From ruins to renaissance, Coventry City pen the final page to complete the tale of this comeback story for the ages. It's a king who ends their exile. Joe King has taken them back to the Premier League palace. Coventry City's exile is over. They are coming home. They are a Premier League club again. Coventry, a Premier League city again. We could see tears away to our left in the away end. This is why football touches the soul. It enriches lives, it changes lives.
As I watched the referee to his mouth, I thought, this feeling of no one can take this away from us. Like this is actually happening.
Bobby Thomas's header will go down in history, won't it?
Yeah.
It was just perfect. Perfect ball by Torp, perfect header, and then just us all there celebrating. Fantastic.
After After securing promotion, Coventry became champions in thrilling fashion.
I've just loved watching the football this season. That's top, that's the main thing, is I've just loved watching the football this season. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care about the pomp and circumstance. Seeing good football played by my team has been the highlight, without a doubt.
I've loved this season talking to so many Uber drivers and taxi drivers who said it's the best business. They're in the best business they've ever done, in the sense that the city is thriving. Local shops, local pubs, people doing so well based on this season and what's happening. It's been a real sort of revival, I think, to a lot of what's gone on in the city.
The ending not only reunited Coventry with the Premier League, but with the city itself. As prophesied in 2001, Coventry were back.
The day of the parade was just overwhelming, absolutely, just such a happy day, everything about that day was wonderful. It felt like the whole city was involved in that, multi-generational, multicultural. It really felt like the whole city was coming together.
And then I think you just saw the best of Coventry. I think you saw the absolute best of Coventry. Like, we had Tom Grennan, and then we had the enemy, and I think it's weird, like, sometimes in life you build these things up in your head and then you think, surely it can't match my expectations, surely it's going to be a bit of an anticlimax. Do you know what? That absolutely wasn't. And that we live and die in these towns moment where we got to battle that out at the end, just that feeling of just like real unity in the whole city.
He has been there, and them coming out and singing "We Live and Die," and they know the words to it as well.
And the enemy playing, and Tom Grennan, and changing the words to fit the players, like the thing at the stadium.
I don't know if I should admit it on camera, but I actually welled up 4 or 5 times that day, either at the bus parade or at the or when the players came on the stage at the Memorial Park.
The doubts over Frank Lampard and Doug King had been drowned out by the triumphant noise inside the Memorial Park.
Just really, really excited what the future can bring.
And whatever it does bring, we're backed. And however long we're back for,
we'll enjoy it.
We'll enjoy it.
Now they've gone up, it's future. Look forward now. That's the past. That's gone.
What I take from this whole thing, these last 15 years, is we lost ourselves for a while. We lost our club. Coventry City was a 1 in 10, 15 people were supporting them actively in the entirety of a city. And now everybody's a Cov fan. And do you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. And I don't think we are back in the Premier League. I think the club's back. And I think its soul's back. And I think everybody's back. So that's how I would say it.